thing we're going to do is the flat felled seam. The flat felled seam is a seam that you would do with heavier fabrics. Lots of times you'll see the flat felled seam on one of your, either the inseam or the outseam of your denim pants, jeans, and that type of thing. The flat felled seam is a seam that you start with your wrong sides together. This is a very specialized seam because you usually put right sides together. However, we're going to put wrong sides together. Now on this white fabric, you really can't tell the right from the wrong. However, you would put your wrong sides together first. Okay? I'm going to do my 1/2 inch seam allowance just as I have in the past, except that only difference being that I'm having wrong sides together instead of right sides together this time. Okay, so again, this is a permanent stitch. I have wrong sides together. Because it's a permanent stitch, I want to back stitch as I start. Notice you only have to go back 1 or 2 stitches. You don't have to go a number of stitches. With the flat felt seam, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to trim one of these seam allowances in half. We're going to trim it down to 1/4 inch. So we're going to take one seam allowance, and we only want one, and we're going to trim it down to 1/4 inch. So I'm going to take this and cut one of my seam allowances down to 1/4 inch. And you can see that I'm just cutting one of the seam allowances. Keep this as even as you can. And as smooth as you can also. You don't want this to be real choppy. Okay, I've cut off 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to press this open and to one side. We want to make sure that it's very flat and we press it to one side. Now you would do this with an iron. And then I'm going to take this seam allowance that is longer, I'm going to fold it over. We have to do this with the iron. What we want to do next is we want to stitch down the fold of this seam to hold everything in place. So we're going to put our presser foot down, and we're going to put the middle of our foot right at the edge of the fold. And I'm going to keep this lined up so that I'm stitching right on the edge of the fold. stitching, and this is the flat felled seam.